There are so many people here. You just got to keep pressing buttons till they all show up. Hello, my name is Walt, and this is the Galaxy's Edge podcast, where we're going to be discussing small unit tactics in and around the Galaxy's Edge tonight. To help me do that, we have this guy, Dark Ops 0117 Swordfish. Boomer.
I think he muted his own mic.
Yeah, you muted
I would
yourself.
never do such a thing. And I do not resemble that at all because you are older than me. And but I'm doing okay. Built myself the beginnings of a gun cabinet this weekend.
Nice.
Were you huffing the glue? Is that what happened?
Huh?
Huffing the glue? Is that what happened?
I mean, and the fun thing where you can like take the wood glue and just like slather all over your hands and then peel it off, and then you have like another hand.
Try that with Gorilla Glue. I hear that it works great.
No.
Yeah.
I hear it's also a very good hairspray.
Before this gets any weirder, I'm going to introduce Dark Ops 1116 Sparky.
Hello, how are y'all doing?
Author of The Reservist, J.R. Handley.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
Wearing a cool Dark Ops hat. We have Dark Ops 81 Sinoken.
Yeah.
Dark Ops 93 Bubba.
Hey.
Can you get more enthused? And then we have...
Hey, no, wait, hold on. Bubba, can you do your Jabba impression?
Oh, crap. Put me on the spot. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's what we do here.
Walt
Well,
doesn't do Bob
my
Hack
question
anymore.
Well, my question would be, do you want more Gollum or do you want more Gremlin?
we
How
want
about Jabba?
Golem Goblin.
Goblin. Jeff Goblin.
Finish out with Oddball and I'll let me get into it.
You gotta psych yourself up for it.
I do. I have to get into it.
404 Oddball.
Here's some Moon God potion.
See, you need to get that Moon God potion.
Yeah.
Well, Jabba, what got Moon God
You need to get the
potion?
Moon God
Jabba,
potion.
Close enough.
Jabba, what? Jabba, what? Moon God potion, please.
And if you are absolutely confused, dazed, and amazed at what is going on and trying to figure out what they are referencing, they have Forgotten Ruinitis. If you don't know, Forgotten Ruin is the new property by Jason Ansbach and Nick Cole, where a bunch of Army Rangers go through a transition gate and end up in a Tolkien-esque world with all sorts of problems and difficulties that they have to face at the end of a Carl Gustav. So that being the case, Carl don't care. So at the end of, they manage to encounter a miniature little goblin creature who just happens to have a thing for Dr. Pepper. But that being the case, we're going to be discussing what's that? Coke?
It was Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, but tonight it's Dr. Pepper because that's all I have on hand.
Oh yeah.
Have to deal with it.
So, yep, there you go. Nasty. So we're speaking of nasty, we are going to be talking about small unit tactics today. But before we do that, we need to talk about what's going on in Discord, Daniel.
Things are going really, really fun in Discord. We got people doing squad ops and Hell Let Loose. Last weekend, we actually did a little play session. I think Bubba actually led our team.
No, you have to bring that up.
Yeah. He led us to victory, and one of those victories was being trapped in the house and having a tank continually shoot at us and blow us up.
I don't do well under pressure from people I know.
But overall, I think we had a lot of fun. We actually had enough people to max out a whole squad in Hell Let Loose when they were doing their free stuff. So that was kind of cool. And I know that we got a couple people that are actually playing squad as well. And we get together sometimes and do that. One of the other things is... let me see. It was under...
It's been a lot of book discussion right now for Forgotten Ruin, correct?
And Strange Company. Or they're
And
both
Strange
kicking
Company.
off.
Strange Company.
Wayward Galaxies kicking off in one of the sub channels too. I think that's Jason's with Jason Ansbach and Jay and Cheney, I think.
That's
Yep.
correct.
Yep.
I
But
can't remember whose co-author was.
if you guys are in Discord, check out the fan art and art channel under content creation. We have Dio141 Teal that managed to find somebody to start making some Arma models to actually import into the game, so we can get that Galaxy's Edge mod rolling finally. So that's really cool. And then back to what you guys were saying about Forgotten Ruin. Yeah, people were all excited. April 1st, I don't know if you guys have seen on the fan page, there was a important communication that went out, I want to say around 8 a.m., something like that. And it was a voice recording of Jabba trying to request some Moon God potion. So, some interesting things going on. A little bit more insight. But yeah, additionally, with April 1st, we had this fantastic thing happen of Hit and Fade dropping finally. And everybody was like, it better not be a joke. It wasn't a joke. It's real. It's on Kindle, and the audible version is going to be coming out June. So that's exciting. But I think the last thing to just tie up Discord is I made a comment on the Insider podcast about how if Discord gets a little, we got Gilded as a backup. That's still a backup. If we have a need to move over, we will move over. Just giving you guys a heads up, the public people, that yes, we know about it. We recognize that there may be a potential thing coming down the line, but we're ready one way or the other.
And one way to stay informed if that kind of stuff happens is go to galaxiesedge.com .us, I think, right?
Galaxiesedge.us, yep.
Right. You can go to jasononsbach.com, nickcole.com, or type in thelegion.com. And any one of those will get you Jason or Nick's or their shared newsletter, and you can stay up to date. And I'm sure if something major like that happened, they would send out an email telling you all where to go with links. So if you want to stay cancel proof with them, then you got to follow them on their social media that is outside of the ecosystem of the powers that be.
Right on. Now, have you played with Gilded at all, Swordfish? You've been messing with it?
Yeah, I got it like 75% built, and then my brain kind of turned off because I had other stuff to deal with. It has a lot more functionality for allowing people to go into break-off rooms and do gaming sessions. It was made to be a little bit better than Discord in facilitating gaming groups and stuff like that. So, that might be a good thing that we swap over to in the end anyways. It's just...
Have you noticed it's wonky on a startup? So when it launches, it's very glitchy until it finally gets its act together and goes into... I might have to switch to a Linux build. Just because it's on Windows, it seems kind of clunky.
Let me take a look real quick.
Sanokin. Nicely done, sir.
He's got to keep the comments rolling.
Hey, that's he's got the great beard and the great typing. So rock and roll.
Yeah. I haven't noticed any issues like that per se. I know. Didn't you say that there was an issue, Bubba, with closing it or something like that for you?
I was having issues on my PC of, like, I would close out and I would go into Discord and look at some stuff and it would still say playing Gilded. I'm like, that makes no sense. Why would it still be open? I closed it. And then I'd restart my PC and I would have to auto exit out again, and then it would still say it's still running, and I'm like, what is going on with this?
When you
and
close
I'm thinking it might just be something on my end.
When you close Gilded, are you actually clicking the X, or are you right-clicking on Gilded in your taskbar and actually hitting quit?
I'm hitting X to close it, not that.
X doesn't close it. It's the same with Discord in some cases. I think it's a setting.
It just drops it in the background.
Yeah. So you would want to hit your taskbar and then right-click on it and hit quit, and now that'd work.
So yeah, that's something to definitely look into, because Microsoft is the lead entity in the purchase of Discord, and we've all seen what they've done to a lot of their stuff. So
Skype is fine. I still use it.
do you really?
No, I don't. I'm
Really?
that's a blatant lie. I haven't. Like I log into Skype. It's like, yep, nothing's going on there.
I can't even realize
Yeah.
when I logged into Skype.
Yeah, a little bit. No. Well, I mean, for its time, it was good.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't forget, they've had Xbox Live since like what was it, 03? And that's never tanked.
Let me
Yeah,
put it
and-
this way.
Sorry.
I remember when Hotmail was before Microsoft bought it, and it was actually pretty good. Then they bought it, and
Now it's all
Trying
linked.
to understand.
It's all
it's
linked
just-
into
it's
their.
a-
You
God,
think
man.
that's
Well, now
all?
it's
I
Outlook.
remember when Tom was everybody's first friend.
Oh God.
I do too.
I think one of the main things that they opted to try to buy Discord, and I'm pretty sure it went through, is mainly because they wanted to integrate Xbox Live and Discord a lot better, and then that would also link their Windows services, their Windows games stuff a little bit better as well.
Yeah, I read the whole report of the reason why they purchased it, and it all made sense to me, anyways. Which is that they're trying to make a more universal social media platform for everything that they have. And I was like, oh, that's explainable, and I moved on from it.
Yeah. So
I
we'll
don't
see.
see them tanking a lot of anything with this, because if they see it running fine a lot of times, they will leave it alone.
Well,
Right on.
Windows
But-
10.
But watch them do something to it, and you all look at me like I'm some Kelhorn who doesn't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but
You
that's beside the point.
You get extra props for using the word Kelhorn.
Does that mean he gets a competency die?
No.
Ha!
Nice try.
I can't even figure out how to use my competency die when we play.
Okay, GR.
And the chat is getting weird.
Yeah, that's because you asked about Tom in MySpace.
No, because he put Irmo, so I said just don't tickle him. It's a play on the
Tickle me, Irmo.
and,
Irmo will call
and now
me
they're getting
tickle.
weird, and it's probably my fault.
No, it's my fault. Irmo
Cheryl
will
is
tickle.
saying that I remember people talking about AOL not knowing what it was because we still didn't have internet where we lived.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been
I
there.
remember AOL.
We
Yep.
killed robots.
I still
and
have an
sacrificed them to get online.
I still have an AOL email account.
Oh,
We don't
wow.
judge.
God.
You and James Ward are probably the only two people left.
Hey.
Only reason it's still going. But speaking of still going, we're going to be talking up small unit tactics today. So let's see, who do we got on the trigger side on the show today? JR, you've gone trigger side. Sanokin, you were a Marine?
Navy.
Navy. What did you do in the Navy? Were you an MA guy?
Oh no, I've shot maybe only 2 mags the whole time I was in the Navy. Of it.
What about
2 mags
Navy
at 9mm. I was aviation electronics.
Right on.
Nice.
All right, Bubba, were you a trigger puller? Say what?
I did some law enforcement training already.
Oh,
Yes.
right on. All right. So when we talk about small unit tactics, we're usually talking about teams of squads. So squad level is usually about 12 dudes. It can be further broken down into teams, but I mean, it's something that we see a lot starting at the Battle of Kublar with Galaxy's Edge. So especially in that very first battle, Chun says in the signature line, he's like, the galaxy's a dumpster fire, and 5 minutes later they're rolling into some tight quarters for an ambush. Did you guys get any of the sense of the tactics when you were reading Legionnaire for the first time?
Yes.
Can you explain?
So, well, first, what I got before even the tactics was how much the terrain felt like places I'd been.
Gotcha.
And so that helped sort of, for me at least, instantly put me back into place when we were doing those things and moving that way. Especially the vehicle part, because I spent my whole year in Iraq, both tours, escorting convoys, doing, dismounting. So it was definitely the way they utilize their vehicles for movement and tactical superiority definitely felt right.
Right on. But did you get the sense that this was a squad that you were talking to, and not necessarily like a company or a battalion element?
Yeah, because they were pretty clear about the capacity of the sleds, and so in my head I was thinking, like a striker or whatever the old folks used before we had strikers.
Thanks.
I was waiting for something. So yeah, I definitely felt like mounted infantry tactics, and then the way they dismounted and formed up their perimeter.
Right on. The I got the sense of the strikers too. That and I will go very old school and talk. What the hell? I will talk about the M113s, because those were a thing way back in the way back. They look like
the aluminum boxes that could float in a river.
No, those are the Marine Lavs.
I got the wrong one then.
Yeah, so we ended up with some weirdness. So, but like right here, you can see on screen, this is probably a platoon element dominating a street in Iraq.
They're not covering both flanks. I wonder what else is going on.
Well, they're Marines. We don't judge.
You should zipper your heavy weapons cover.
But
nobody else instantly saw that.
No, we're just you. But yeah, the sleds that we're talking about from Galaxy's Edge, you definitely got that APC carrier style vibe, kind of with the Humvee style turrets and stuff like that. When they dropped the backs of the sleds, what did you guys think about how they exited and how they moved when they got out? Because go ahead.
I thought it was very controlled, and each person as they exited had their position and their field of fire that they needed to focus on, and they always relied on the other guys to have their area locked down because they were always communicating. And that kind of reminds me of like that one scene when they're going through the door-to-door stuff in the village, where they come up to the house, and I believe Chun,
20s and Chun.
Yeah, 20s and Chun are having to deal with the Coobs inside, and so it's like they coordinate, and I think it was Chun throws the grenade in, and then after it goes off, they go in and they clear, each one covering their area, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh, I've had to do, like, in my training, I had to do a building clear, and as law enforcement, it's a lot different. So it's going in, making sure each room that you pass is 100% clear before you keep walking. But you have people who are shifty, and so they find ways of hiding their bodies up inside of things that you don't think about. And
can you give us some examples?
Well, one was, this was actually when I was getting shot at, actually. We cleared the first room on our right, cleared the restrooms on our left, moved up to a science room. This was an old high school. And I was watching the hallway, and my partner was clearing the room beside me, and he checked the cabinet that was immediately to our right as you enter the room, but he did not check above it. And that is where one of the role players was, and he was shooting me in back the whole time, so I crouched down and fired back. They said if you start getting shot at, fire back till you run out of ammo. Do not give up. And we did that, backed up, clear, and exited the building, because that was what we were told to do. That's what we did. And they said, do you see the issues with this? Which was, we gave up ground that we already cleared. Now we're going to have to clear it all again. But we know that the person inside had a weapon, so leaving and getting more help was actually a good idea. So it's different from what the military would do, which is, oh, there's a guy in here, frag. For us, it's there's a guy in here, leave.
Well, yeah. I mean, in essence, that's correct. I mean, but you're not always going to have to frag a room because we were
No.
actually talking today off the air, and we were swapping some stories, and we were recounting there was an incident where everybody had to come out of the building, right? But not necessarily come out of the building ventilated. So a flashbang was thrown in. The downside to a flashbang in an enclosed space is it has a tendency to rupture an eardrum. So rather than the person you're trying to detain, control, and question walking out under their own power, you end up with somebody who's going to be on a stretcher because of the fact that unfortunately you don't, they're all messed up now, which is, they can't stand on their own. It's just, it's a massive pain in the keister.
Yeah.
But yeah, what did you guys think about? Go ahead.
Before we move on, one of the things I think they got right was that visceral ass puckering feeling when the ramp drops and when you're standing at the front. Because with the striker, the sergeant goes, the team leaders, excuse me, shut up, Elvis. The team leaders go out first. So that feeling when that ramp drops, especially if you're the junior team leader, that you're the
you're
first
mean,
out.
Dad.
Yeah, I know. If you're the first one out the gate, the feeling of like, please let me shoot you first, kind of thing. They definitely got that feeling of being the first out of the gate.
Yeah.
When was the last time someone said "Shut up, Elvis"?
Nobody, because
You
everybody
don't tell the
loved
king to
Elvis.
shut up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you got, there's a lot of different things you can use too to mitigate that. Like, obviously, dogs with goggles.
Yep.
Dogs with goggles are a great way to mitigate that because, if you're going, let's say you're doing a breach and clear, you're doing building and room entry, or you're doing anything where you might not necessarily be exiting an armored vehicle, but you might be entering into a space for the first as the number one guy. If that number one guy through the door is a dog and is mobile, agile, and hostile, he might cause people to rethink their poor life choices before they pull the trigger. So, especially if they're wearing an Oracle system like this dog is, if you look, he's got a camera on the back of his harness, and then in his ear, packed into that goggles, he's probably got a little earpiece where he can hear the handler over the comm set. Allows the handler to direct the dog, which is really, really wild. But I see exactly what JR was talking about coming out of. I was never motorized, but I've left the back end of an aircraft while it was moving a couple of times, and if you're first out the door and you get to see the awful that you're moving into, it's a thing.
And that feeling that they covered really well of hearing the plink of things hitting your armored protection and knowing, oh crap, I'm going out into that. And it's very, it takes that little bit of extra something to do that, because it would be so much easier just to sit inside where you're theoretically safe, but to force yourself to get out and then to do it in the way the Legionnaires did, which was like take that and like kick it up to about a bazillion. That, I mean, they did a really good job of conveying that sense of dread, but like resolve.
Right on. So one of the things that you always got to deal with, which anytime you're talking about maneuvering an element, is control of the different parts, and that's one of the great things of Galaxy's Edge is that a lot of time the stories center on squad and smaller kind of entities, so it's easier to control. It's easier to convey in a story too, especially if you're talking like big, huge elements like a battalion or a brigade. God forbid, talking about a division. What did you guys think about something like Legionnaire? How did they do as far as like control of the squads and stuff?
They limited the character aspect huge. I mean, like the whole time we were focused mainly on the entire squad of Doomsday that was in the first vehicle. So, you're able to get into the squad tactics a little bit easier and then move it on from there. Even if you have that moment of like, oh, here's the overall command coming from lead. But now it trickles down to us being just a little group. Now we can deal with this a little bit more intently and work it in narratively very well.
Right on. I think in the story, Chun had a lot of control over his guys. So much so that he was directing them where they needed to, but at the same time he was able to rely on them to make their own decisions and get into the position they needed to be in when he needed them. Especially when they're dealing with that tank over the ridge and they had to take that ridge. Man, the pucker factor just reading that. Did you ever end up in situations like that, JR, where you got pinned down under cover, but you still had to move forward?
Yes, and I will say before we answer that question I've given out some of these copies of books to Army buddies or people that I've been through the wars with at the VA, and one of the guys was he worked while I worked protecting TCNs on the highways and dyways. He actually was embedded with local Iraqi Army groups, and he said the way that the Legionnaires interacted with the basics felt just like herding cats that he did when he was interacting with the local militia units that they were dealing with. So I thought that was good to know because that wasn't a perspective of the war that I had anything to do with. But yeah, there were a couple times where we were pinned down, although in our case it was sniper fire that did it.
Right on. How'd you get around it?
There can't be a sniper firing at you from the building if there's no building. Mark 19.
the greatest solution ever.
I was gonna say it's like I know it's a game and it really doesn't matter on the large scale things, but there were times when we'd be playing squads like, wow, we're really pinned down. It's like, can we just have like mortars just lay down fire on this point, like just kill this grid square? And yeah, sure. And then it's like, cool, do that and walk in.
So the situation there was unique because we were escorting convoys with Connex boxes full of ammunition to resupply a Marine unit at Camp Raider. I think that was his name. I've had a few concussions since then. It was in Karbala. That's what I remember. And they had that's going to be in trouble. The local forces, indigenous forces, had moved a Jersey barrier that should have had us turning left, and we went right, and we routed through a neighborhood not rated for our convoys. So not only did we have that going for us, we took out the entire city's power grid with our vehicles because, if you've seen their pictures of their roads, like they just have sticks essentially with like twigs with the lines draped over them, and we were ripping them out. And then we were escorting a National Guard unit whose number I will not say, who were taking pictures of the local women because they thought it was cool to see the ladies in the burqa, which they also didn't like. So we were culturally insensitive. We destroyed their infrastructure. They were just all around not happy we were there. And so the LT got the bright idea of circling the wagons, which is generally not a bad idea when you're doing convoys. It's a horrible idea when those convoys are escorting Connex boxes full of like live rounds. And I still don't know what all was in those, but it was just things that go boom, and we're supposed to hide behind those. And so he wanted us to just sit and wait for support. And we decided that wasn't the best option. So that's when he ordered us to fix bayonets and charge the building, but we didn't have bayonets. So Mark 19 handled it for us.
What was it? Your whole, there's a sniper in the building, eliminate the building. I mean, they did that in World War II with Monte Cassino during the invasion because they were like, there's people in the building up on the hill, and it was like the really old Italian build. I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of the building. But they laid down naval artillery on top of it and bombs and everything and took the building off the map. And it was like a culture icon of Italy.
Yeah.
And
it was like a monastery, I think.
They were like, it's a spot. Yeah, it was. It was some monastery. But they were like, their spotters directing artillery onto the guys on the beach. Eliminate the building. And that's what they did.
So we were originally only intending to take out the room the sniper was firing from, but sometimes when you start firing, things happen. You get a little excited. It's a fun thing to fire the Mark 19, even on like a range where no one's shooting at you. So he just went a little trigger happy and unloaded the whole box of ammo. So what should have just taken out that room took the whole building. Oops.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, and that's why tanks got the canister shot.
Yep.
Hey, we got a situation with this building. Okay, pump a canister around through it.
Well, that's the
Because
thing
just
about supporting units that really can make a small unit punch above their weight. Things
Yeah.
like access to a mortar platoon on Freak, or if JR, if I mentioned to JR what the sheriff was, of course he didn't have the experiences the others of us had with the sheriff, but he would know what that is. Being able to take out force multipliers like the Carl Gustav, or any type of anti-material weapon, and not just like a sniper rifle with a big bullet. I'm talking like in modern times we have the AT-4, we have the Carl Gustav, we have there are even some Marine units who proudly still use the Law rocket from Vietnam because of its portability. Not so much for detonating armor, but because it is a very easy way to blow open the door through the wall. So if you gotta make your own doorway, shoot a Law rocket at it, because this thing was intended to go through light armor. If the wall is nothing but adobe and drywall, you're pretty guaranteed to get through the wall lickety split. Did you guys see any of those kind of weapons or enhancements other than the AP missile?
No, we didn't get any of the good stuff.
No, I mean
I-
not real,
in
not
Galaxy's Edge.
in Galaxy's Edge. Don't get weird.
aside from the AP, they had frags, they had bangers,
They
had
kept it-
drones, they had
they kept it-
N4s. It was very limited in the first
Yeah.
book.
They kept it very like low key, like closer to, because I think they did it to make it more visceral, because it was like, you could almost smell the crap that we lived with. Like, I mean, I thought it added to the effect that they didn't just instantly give them whiz bang lasers and twirling lightsabers and.
Well, not so much
Well,
lightsabers.
You go to Kill Team, and they kept going with the small squad tactics in that as well. Then you saw them start implementing breaching devices, the magnetic
Charge blocks.
charge bricks, det bricks, the
bubbler.
propulsion system that they slapped on the door to break the mag locks on it. Oh God, what else was there? I think they had det cord.
Yeah, well, they had tons of det cord, but then you got stuff like from the Dark Operator series. Doc Spears talking about aquatic charges and stuff like that, where it gets you can get some very interesting
Slicer
effects.
kits.
Yep.
The slicer kits where you just put on the door lock and then it's like hit the button and it's like, okay, now we go in through the open door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
But one of the things that I noticed, like you'll notice this in Kill Team, when you go back and like if you got the Kindle version of Legionnaire, you'll find it too. You'll find this out too. They don't mention the Surge shotgun until Kill Team. I don't think.
Mhm.
Now I don't have Galactic Outlaw as on my Kindle, but I do have both the other books, and yeah.
Yeah, the Surge shotgun. Shotgun's another great way to get into a door. The only downside is it's the knock that keeps on giving. The first second you pull that trigger and now you blow off your first hinge. The downside to that is everybody knew you just blew off your first hinge.
Yeah.
Which
But it's reusable.
the hinge.
No,
No.
the shotgun.
No, the shotgun.
Although it is funny. To
Yes,
watch people, like,
I
throw them-
reuse a hinge that's been blown off.
It is funny to watch people like throw themselves at the door, thinking they're gonna like jump through it and bounce off. That's
Oh,
always
God,
fun.
no.
Oh my god, it's hysterical.
I saw this one police breaching thing, and they had the RAM and everything, and the guy's just going ham on it, and the door is just holding.
And it was
And then-
unlocked the whole time. I saw
Well,
that one.
no, it wasn't that one. They just kept going after the store, and I wish I could pull it up, but it was just hilarious because it was like 4 guys and they were trying to go through this door, and they spent a solid like 5 to 10 minutes like just bash on the door. That's like enough time for the person to just go out the back door and be like, okay, have fun with that.
Well, you can do that too as a misdirection. You can have somebody really working at that door when guys like Legionnaires could very easily go through the wall. And the whole idea is to get the rabbit to squirt out the back, where you got just a bunch of Legionnaires hanging at each entrance and exit to catch anybody who comes through. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different force multipliers that you can add to a small unit to get them a little more lethal than how they showed up. I mean, if you're only talking about 12 guys, what are some of the other things that, like JR, what are some of the other things that you guys used, or what are some of the other things you guys have seen in both Galaxy's Edge and other fiction where a small unit maneuvering through a space have kind of used to go beyond their what would be considered their normal characteristics?
So I've seen a lot of books will get around it by going the high tech route, which it can be fun to they make up weird names and whiz bang gadgets, and that can be fun to read. What I like that Jason and Nick did is they went almost the opposite. In a world where everything is high tech, going low tech can send a certain message. And be certainly visceral. So like the Coob sword that they have, or
the tomahawk.
Like the tomahawk, like just thinking about it from a Cyclops perspective. Like if you come after the battlefield and you're like, oh, bullet hole, no big deal. We see that every day out here on the edge. Wait a minute, they cut his face off. Because, and I'm not talking like James Ward style, like cutting ears off war crimes level, but just in general, like through the nature of brutal hand-to-hand combat, like to see somebody's face get smashed in, that's a whole nother kind of message that just makes the Legionnaires that much more intimidating.
Right.
So what I don't remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is no good butt stroke action. So nobody getting the butt end of the blaster slammed into their face. You stop winking at me, Daniel. It's getting weird. But yeah, I don't remember that, but I do like how they got up close and gritty.
Up close and butt strokey. Yeah. Are you sure you weren't in the Navy? That sounds like a Navy thing.
I'll take you to the range. I'll show you how it's done.
Nice.
Got to be able to see first.
Is this going to be like what was it that one movie Ghost where you're going to be behind me holding my arms while I hold the and you're just like, yeah, pull the trigger.
I hate myself right now because I do and don't want that to happen. I do want it to happen so I can make fun of you. I don't want it to happen because I don't want the nightmares. Oh my god!
I could
just save us from ourselves, please.
I could just envision GR's nice poochy belly, pressing on the small of my back.
Now it's getting weird. Now
Sacrifices must be made.
and
It wouldn't be the G podcast if it didn't get
there we go.
Weird.
Oh my god!
This is how you sharp report.
It's okay, GR. You're gonna be my favorite in the gulag.
Well, you want sharp reports? This is how you get sharp reports.
Yep, you do realize that I'm violating. I'm basically revolting against every harassment briefing I had to sit through on right before Christmas. But that being the case,
sorry.
Go ahead.
So
To confirm what JR said, there is no mention of a butt stroke in Legionnaire.
Right on.
For shame.
Well, that's getting added in Reservist 3.
Jason, work on it.
Yeah. JR's going to put butt stroke in every other word for Reservist 2.
No, that one's done. It's turned into the editor.
Yeah, it's turned in now. Now the editors are ripping it up.
AKA Walt.
Don't get weird.
The editor's going to tell you it needs more butt strokes.
Oh my god.
Oh my! It's the new cowbell. New cowbell.
Yeah. Well, the thing about hitting somebody with the back of your weapon is that you're either going to have two effects. Number one, I've seen somebody struck with the back of a weapon, and I'm not talking like an M4 with those nice padded buttstocks so that it doesn't hurt your delicate shoulders. I'm talking like the old M16A2 where it had a metal plate on the back. Dude straight up took a buttstock to the cheek and then stared down the dude who hit him. You know, and it wasn't like it was, you know, like it wasn't like a guy who looked like he ate Arnold Schwarzenegger. This was a skinny little, you know, runt that a bunch of cats had to run down through the jungle and get very angry because, you know, the jungle is very angry at you all the time. And they tried to slow him down so they could put the cuffs on him, you know, some zip ties, and they hit that dude everything he had. And he just turned around and looked at that cat and was like, "What else you got?" You know,
I have seen such things.
Yes, and the other side of that is you hit the person in an area of their head or neck, and you produce the opposite effect, in which case they do not get up. You've either caused a depressed skull fracture or you've damaged the spine, and now that person that you're trying to corral and and control now can't walk on his own. So now you have a casualty you have to carry because that person might have sensitive intelligence, and hopefully his brain doesn't leak out of his ears. So I think that's a good thing that they didn't put like a butt strike into the fiction, because once again, if you're not wearing a bucket and you take that thing in the wrong place, you know, you could have your brain leak out your nose, or you could have a dude who's been hit like that before get very upset that you just tried it.
Wasn't it a thing where the SAB gunners actually have armor enhancements?
Mechanical assisted arms.
Yeah, so that way that they can carry the SAB easier. So I'd imagine being butt stroked or, you know, punched by one of them, that would be one of those come to Jesus kind of things. And it's just like, okay, my head is now twisted sideways and my brain no work no more at all.
Right.
But the other side of that is if it happens with an N4, like, you know, House of Reason, military grade, it might just shatter into a bazillion pieces.
Well, yeah, it's gonna really depend on who, like who is doing it and what piece of equipment you're using.
I bet Bear could take you down and keep you down.
In the beginning.
Ooh, that was too soon.
Too soon? But yeah,
I don't know. Robo legs don't quit, man.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Robo legs don't care except for an EMP.
I mean,
well,
God, could you imagine the marches and Bear's just like, yeah, what's wrong? I just put my legs on autopilot. Wait, what's taking you so long? Hurry up!
Yep. Then of course you have that one private in the barracks who decide to get froggy, and he unplugs Bear's legs before they're fully charged. Goes to go on that road march, and the legs don't march. Yeah.
Hey, like me now.
How's your robot legs now without any power, huh?
Or an EMP grenade.
Yep.
Gets them slaps in a new battery, proceeds to find that private, and shows him what a curb stomp feels like with metal legs.
Ooh.
Yep. There is nothing funnier than a sergeant who knows the word mollywomp. But yeah, I was trying to find because we're talking to the guys over at Enemy Spotted Studios, and they sent a whole bunch of images over of the new Legion sculpts that had the techno enhancements on the outside of the armor to carry the SAB. So I was trying to find that for a second. I'll find it eventually.
That brings me up with another thought. Comparing that to Forgotten Ruin, you see a lot of the same thing with how the Rangers operate. You know, they have like when they're defending the hill for the first time, they have their sub sub teams essentially, and they all are communicating and relying on each of them to do their section. And when one team goes silent, they send somebody to go back them up, and as soon as they get them going, they all know exactly what their job is. You got the assistant gunner that's backing up the gunner, and the other guys are covering them. And they all have the lingo programmed into their brain. So it's like when somebody starts like counting out, like, oh, I'm going black on my mag, they know, okay, that person's on their last mag, and they can coordinate that way. And yeah,
they had a good sense of how the small unit tactics work with guys like that. They did their research. They talked to a bunch of guys who have lived that life and worked that job. Because at the end of the day, if you're creating a book like that, you want to sound authentic. You want to sound like when these guys are moving onto X objective, that they sound like a Ranger crew moving. Like right here, you have a Ranger heavy weapon section, right? So there are 2 Carl Gustavs on the move in that crew. Right, you got one right here with the guy in focus, and then right behind him there's a guy off to the side that's got a second, right? And the reason they would do that is if they're going to blow up a tank, and this is an anti-armor crew, what's going to happen is that first gunner is going to let that thing clear its throat, and when the tank goes to sight on him and start messing with him, the second gunner will take it from a different angle. It also gives time to reload and stuff like that. So
I don't see a secondary weapon on the Carl Gustav gunner. Did they not carry one?
It's what do you call it? It's on his back. You can't see it because of the way you can't see it because of the way the sling. Those guys are going to carry an M4.
Okay.
So my question to you, Walt, is there an airsoft version of the Carl Gustav? And if so,
There is. I found one.
Oh, fantastic! Because assuming everything gets all set up, I think that would be some pretty fun thing to bring into a meetup where we implement that into the thing. It's like, okay,
so
one team gets a Carl Gustav, or it's like there's one Carl Gustav on the field, and both teams have to work to get to that to eliminate the other one.
So I want to know who's gonna be on the Ranger team and who's gonna be on the Arc team.
I'll be on the maternity team.
Rangers don't allow fat boys in their groups, so I guess I'm an Orc.
I've got a bunch of LARP gear gathering dust, so I guess I'll be an Orc.
There you go. But yeah, so
okay,
I mean,
it wasn't a Carl Gustav, it was an AT4.
There you go. Yep, it's along the same lines. But right here we have a Ranger team, heavy weapon squad, mounted on top of a mobile patrol vehicle, and you can see this is the M2 Bravo. So this is the 50 caliber machine gun. This is what you might find in a lot of Cheryl is like, okay, when is this airsoft party? I need to go. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. But yeah, so this is something that you might have seen in Forgotten Ruin when the orcs are storming that hill. Now, granted, they didn't, because of how they landed and how things were at the time, they didn't have access to an M2, which would have definitely changed the scope of the battlefield. But they did have the 240 Bravo, which is a medium machine gun. So Sanokin, as a Navy guy, I know that a lot of Navy ships get to carry those things. Did you get to use any of those?
I was practically Air Force.
Were you a tactical weatherman?
No, I was assigned to the EP-3E Orions, so they were too big to go on carriers. And so when they deployed, they just went to Air Force bases because I was stationed out by where Swordfish lives.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the P3s were the big thing that was on Woodby Island for like the longest time until we got upgraded.
Right on. So, like right here, you can see the 240 Bravo and this Marine going anger up on the on somebody who decided to give him some lip. But yeah, this is a medium machine gun that is talked about heavily in Forgotten Ruin, and they use it to great effect to kind of stall the enemy movement onto their position. We have that kind of in the squad automatic blaster in Galaxy's Edge as well. What did you guys think of? Oh God, which one is it now? It's I think it's not Sword of the Legion, the one where they attack Ankalor. Galaxy's Edge.
It was one of the books.
Turning Point.
Was it
Turning Point? Turning Point. Yep. So in Turning Point, they have a pretty crucial moment with a guy who is throwing down hate in a sab, and that's another excellent example of using that kind of weaponry to enhance a squad. Ooh, what do we got? Oh, is that your original unit? Nice.
Yeah, VQ1. You muted your mic though.
We won't tell him.
He's good at that.
You don't need to hear me.
What was it? Turning Point. They had the Sab, but McRaven also talked about the N60 back on Sidon.
Oh yeah.
Which was the heavy duty, stop them all type weapon.
I also like, since we're talking about Sidon, I like how not just the Legionnaires use squad tactics. You see it some with the donks, and you see it with the on Sidon, where the enemy is using it to great effect too, with their mobile artillery platforms and their screening forces. And like I like how it wasn't they were constantly beating up paper tigers.
Right.
It felt like the enemy was real too.
Yeah, but the
you actually had a combat force.
Yeah, exactly. No, please continue.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a picture from Sidon.
Yeah.
He's got the N60.
He's mad because Adrian just left him for Jody.
I got to tell you, as a young kid, I was like with those movies, I was like, wow. But if you get a chance, check out David Morell's original series. Those books are fantastic. I mean, you want to talk about a series that goes into the tragedy of PTSD. Wow, really, really great book. But anyway, I loved the original Order of the Centurion with how the Dobies were working those heavy artillery pieces. Holy crap!
All I'm saying was Berlin was one of the true heroes of the Legion.
Right on.
I mean, like JR, it fits, right?
Yeah. Well, and then like, what is it?
I blew your mind. It's okay. I get it.
No, I was going to say you get to see some more. Well, I mean, like you also get to see like in Turning Point, you get to see them implement more, small squad tactics of, oh, this whole city was just at war. Now it's time for the kill team to go get the main objective, and now they're having to travel through a city that's ready to kill them on sight.
Yeah.
I liked it on Turning Point. Also, they had that scene where the LT was trying to follow the dictates of the House of Reason policies or whatever, and his squad's basically like, "Peace out. We don't have to listen to you anymore."
Yeah,
freaking one of the most underrated scenes in the whole series.
It was awesome.
Well, it's the best scene in the whole series.
So as we're making our way out of this combat area, talking about small unit tactics in the books, is there anything that you guys noticed as far as small units and small unit tactics in the books that you wanted to bring up?
I liked, so it was, I think it was where they captured the people that went, I'm drawing a blank.
Talking about in the prison?
Yeah, no. Where they captured the crew while the Legion was out doing their thing on Terrago Moon. Drawing a blank what book that was, but when they're doing their thing and the crew that stayed with
Attack
the
of
ship gets
Shadows.
captured. Attack of Shadows. Like when they go into the depths of that base, and you get the impression of like they're on this catwalk and there's people coming from lower levels shooting up at them and people from upper levels, like just that sense of three-dimensional combat and how that changes like tactical thinking and how they accounted for that with their tactics. I think it's really easy for a lot of authors and just people in general when they still think terrestrially, so they think the plane, and they don't remember that bubble around you on a plane goes under you and comes up around too, because now it's three-dimensional. And so I like that Jason and Nick thought on the sphere, if you will, when they were planning the tactics of that scene. I think that was pretty underrated.
I thought it was cool in how in the Dark Operator series, I want to say it was Exigency, when they go after one baddie, and they have Kel has his team all coordinated to move in and acquire the guy. And I thought that was really cool and how it was executed. A lot of it was, no plan survives contact with the enemy, but the fact that they were able to adapt and still, come away successful initially, I thought was really cool and well done.
The fact that
also with that, sorry.
No,
I was going to say also with that, with the first book of Dark Operator in general, you can see like the progression of like small group training working in a way of, oh yeah, everything is going well, they're well trained and everything, to why don't they go beyond 7 meters on their ranging?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because we don't shoot beyond that. Well, that's the reason why this transport with all these kids got killed.
Yeah.
And they weren't prepared, and so their training lacked in what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of technical proficiency in how Doc wrote those books. Everything from zeroing a weapon to why they do certain things the way they do, and even kind of like speculative stuff, such as in Exigency, in the scene we were just talking about, where they're sent after an HVT. They have to think in 3 dimensions because they're dealing in areas with low or no gravity, and operating in like vac suits and assisted armor suits with environmental seals and all this other junk. So yeah, there's a lot of technical proficiency that went into those books that even on the speculative side gets really intense as far as what we could be facing even in the next few years now that we have our Space Force. But yeah.
Bad name.
Yeah, I gotcha.
It's a good name, and I love the fact
it is a bad name.
They'll be dishing
I love the fact
the Guardians
that it
of
has
the
a
Space Force.
Netflix series now.
Yes. But yeah, so
to watch that show, I do not want to give that name good context.
You really should. It's actually pretty damn funny. Like, no lie. Like the couple episodes I saw, I was like, wow. Steve Carell did good, in my opinion. But that's me.
blunt force segue. Boom. So if you haven't gotten, your chance to check it out, Forgotten Ruin dropped last month and has done a lot of good as far as getting reviews, and people are really, really digging it. They're digging seeing an actual Ranger unit and how it would respond to this, these critical circumstances. And now just dropping yesterday, we had Hit and Fade, which is the second book, and is also doing very well. But spread the word, tell your friends, let them know that if they don't want to ruin themselves, they need a fistful of Ranger in the form of these books, and get their read on during this way. Jason and Nick has said that the audio for Hit and Fade should hit right around June 1st. But the audio for Forgotten Ruin is out there now. You can get that all through ForgottenRuin.com as well as Galaxy'sEdge.com.
Before we go,
yes.
Jason and Nick have asked me to mention this, so everybody remembers, because I always say, please rate, share, do the thing on the reviewing platforms. But please don't forget to hit the Forgotten Ruin, Hit and Fade once you read it, Strange Company, Wayward Galaxy, all the other series they write. It's just as important to review those two. It helps the right reader find the right books. So please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms, because there are some people review bombing them. And so you help them by telling, and I'm not saying make up and blow smoke and sunshine, be honest, but leaving the reviews helps.
Yeah. And then on that similar topic, there's a current contest going on, or it's it's a poll that people are doing, and it's what is the best co-written sci-fi book of all time. And if you didn't notice, Galaxy's Edge by Jason Ansbach and Nick Cole is on there, as well as where is it? It's all out of order again. The Ruins of the Galaxy series by J.N. Chaney and Christopher Hopper. So there's that one. I don't think Jason and J.N. Chaney's Wayward Galaxy made it on there, but it's definitely something to check out. Maybe if you listen to one of the series, I'd assume that you listen to Galaxy's Edge and that you would go rep the Edge. But yeah, check that out and give your vote there. I think there was another thing. People were saying that they really liked the map for Forgotten Ruin. Walt, can you pull up the map to show that off?
Yep.
Let's hassle Jason a little bit more and maybe see if we can get either a poster or a wall scroll of that, because I think that would be really cool to have, maybe right here, behind my Galaxy's Edge posters, because I think a wall scroll would be very fitting for something like that. So go hassle him on Facebook.
Yeah, I got a lot of open room behind me.
Yeah,
a lot of fantasy authors, a lot of fantasy readers really like world maps and really like looking at them. I know my mom really did back when she read The Hobbit back in the day. But yeah, it'd be.
This is how I feel about
it'd be
fantasy books,
investment.
mapped books.
Oh yeah. Walt, don't you use the Forgotten Ruin map for your play session that you guys do?
Yeah, we have a world anvil. But first, let me just say that when I originally saw this map that Jason and Nick did,
Basil,
I was very upset because my uncle's house is supposed to be like right here.
Hey, Italy kind of had a oopsie daisy.
Yeah, a little rough time. Yeah.
I just hope the trains still run on time.
Well, I didn't care about the train so much as the ferries, because
isn't that more so Japan?
Yeah.
Hope it wasn't mobile home. Then he has beachside property now.
Yeah, beachside property on the wrong side of the water. But yeah, so if you go to World Anvil and do a search for Tyrus Rex, you will see that we have our Wargate World Anvil page up, along with a Ranger's Guidebook and all the maps that you can check out exactly what's been happening. It's even got pins, so you can check out like the different enemies that they've faced, the places that they've been to. You can check out some of the allies that they worked with. So yeah, we have our and of course this is the area they're going back to, which is the Shattered Sea. So, but yeah, there's lots of maps that that we're going to be playing with and allowing people to check out with different features so that you can interact with it and use it for games of your own. So.
And I like that we can track Benny's war crimes in real time.
One of my favorite things about these maps for Forgotten Ruin is that it's different enough that it's believable, but yet it's familiar enough that you're like, oh, I know where that is.
Yeah.
And you can move through it.
Wasn't there something that you said that there was on the most recent session that you did with Nick and about how there was something that you figure would catch his eye, and he'd be like, "Yeah." It was like a dwarf or something like that.
Oh, so right. Let me put that away. So right here, there is the dwarven city of Saravolta, and there's the I don't know if you can see that. That is a dwarven bearded woman.
Hey, you can't judge now.
Because I had to.
Freaks.
Oh god.
Yeah.
We don't judge.
So that is the fantastic artwork of Dean Spencer. You can find a lot of his stuff on Drive-Thru RPG, or he has a Patreon if you wanted to support him directly. He's amazing. He does really amazing art. But yeah, Dean did the dwarven bearded woman, because like you do, and there she is right there. Hello.
How soon till that ends up in a Sparky game?
Very soon, I hope.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Sparky, you're running a session for Forgotten Ruin as well, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am. Every Tuesday night.
Right on. Is that on Twitch? Can you give us the address?
Yes, it's at Savage Company Gaming.
Savage Company Gaming on Twitch?
Savage?
Yeah. Bubba, calm down. It's okay.
Savage.
Yeah, you can watch every week me getting shot in the back.
Yes, he got shot again.
Oh yeah. That was a thing that I
Sparky,
remember.
are you even in the uplifted group on Discord?
No. Apparently I'm in the wrong not in the right club.
No, you're not.
I'll bring crack chicken.
Oh God.
Oh, that's what it was.
Not again.
Bubba, I remember what it is. Thank God.
You remember now? You remember now because he said crack chicken?
Yeah, and it was related to that. Okay, so I won a contest. I won a contest, guys. This contest is I'm going to give you guys to the end of April. I want somebody to come up with a recipe for cracked chicken. I want it to be fried.
Win that.
Oh my God.
And I want some kind of ingredient to represent crack.
That's
Oh
easy.
my God.
No, he's had real crack in it. Sorry.
Yeah, I would ideally.
You want a safe version and a not safe version. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Oregon, I believe it's legal now. So by all means, but
Sure.
I wanna see what people can do. I want to see if we can get some really cool chicken recipes.
I gotta buy that. I gotta buy that.
It all started with a chicken.
Well,
Did
you almost
have
made me
board
drown in my
games
own
up to
cup.
that?
It's not my fault.
You sure you didn't set them up to that, Walt?
I mean, if you've played Legend of Zelda, all you do is you take a chicken and you hit it with your sword a few times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you want a side dish with it?
I like the edited version of that.
Yeah. Do you have the edited version of that, Sanokin?
I put it up in Discord. I'll have to find it.
But Bubba, on that, yeah, sure. I mean, if you guys got a side dish, go hit up the mess hall, please.
We only have
drop
mess chicken in my neck of the woods.
Yeah, drop your recipes in mess hall. Show us what you got. I really do love food, and I think a lot of people like JR do as well. So
I caught that subtle fat joke. I'm working on it.
yeah, me too. Don't worry, you're not alone.
Speaking of, that's a channel in the Discord where we've been helping each other and keeping each other accountable and sharing pictures on our walks or hikes, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So JR, didn't you say that you did a couple rucks recently?
So I started. I don't actually have the rucksack because dry rot got old Alice. But I've got a weighted vest that Jonathan Yanez, the author of Iron Wolves, suggested that would work for me, and it fits like 40 pounds. I'm going to have to upgrade at some point, but I had to take a quick break while I got my leg rubbed off. No, that sounded perverted. Well, I got it. I got bit by a brown recluse, people, okay? So they had to get all that. But
stroking.
Yeah, it's right up there with the, you know what? Walt, save us from ourselves. I've been rocking with a 40-pound vest.
Yep. All I'm going to say is this has been the Galaxy's Edge podcast. This is the crew. These are the jokes. And we got nothing else. Catch you next time on the Galaxy's Edge.